large archipelago. I mean, it just seems so bloody obvious.
I started the carnivore diet.
I was about to say.
Joe, all I eat is meat.
I eat human babies.
Oh, jeez.
And then if I don't finish them, I freeze them. Well, first I cut them up, I freeze them, send the remains to Siberia.
It's funny because you're saying that like Jordan Peterson, but I'm seeing Kermit the Frog talking about freezing, cutting up, and eating babies.
I mean, it's just so bloody obvious, you know. I mean, you look back.
All right, well, we've started.
Yep. Oh, this is started. Oh, shit.
I like to have a warm opening, you know. So, once again, welcome to the Wolfcat podcast. My name is Mark Shelton. I am the owner, operator, endorser, and primary instigator of this podcast. I'm joined today by my buddy Tanner. We were in Quest together, and I'll let you introduce yourself. Go ahead.
Yeah, so my name is Tanner Webster. I'm a sophomore. I go to Radford University here with Mark, and this summer I worked at Quest with him, like he said. And I'm a business management major, so I'm trying to do an undergraduate study abroad somewhere in Europe this upcoming semester.
Nice.
So,
where'd you apply to again?
Where do I apply to? I haven't applied yet.
Okay.
I'm in the process of applying right now. So I'm trying to do, my top place that I really want to do is Florence, Italy, but if that doesn't work out, I think it's, I don't know how to pronounce it, like Marseille, France. It's
hey,
like
man, that's why we
southern
got the internet.
France, yeah.
Yeah. All right, but continue, though.
Yeah.
You said Marseille, France.
Yeah. It's, I mean, I just kind of came up with this idea. I kind of wanted to do something, go out of the country. I haven't been to Europe. I've only been to Costa Rica.
There you go.
But I've been thinking about doing something outside of the country and kind of just exploring, meeting new people, and kind of just having a broader experience. That's why I did Quest with you, because,
yeah.
I like to have a bunch of different things that I do.
For sure.
And so, yeah, I'm just really interested in specifically Southern Europe, pretty much any country in Southern Europe. I like the history.
Oh, yeah.
I like it's very beautiful down there. But, yeah, so that's my interest. And I really like the culture and the art down there.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And the food.
Rich in art, for sure,
Yeah.
because it's been around for so damn long.
Yeah.
Europe has just been conquering and unconquering things
And being
left and
conquered.
Right. And being conquered,
Sometimes,
yeah. So
yes.
just full of art and energy and experience.
History. History is very important.
Hell yeah.
We're historical creatures.
We are. That's how we
Yes.
operate, man.
Yes. And also just the way of life down there here is a lot slower.
Mm-hmm.
People are a lot more chilled out. You can actually enjoy instead of being rushed all the time. I don't hate, but I just really dislike the way of life in America a lot of times.
It's overwhelming sometimes.
Yeah, it's a little fast. Not saying I don't like America. I love America.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think it'd be nice to slow down a little bit and let my mind kind of open up. I just feel like that's important. I feel
For sure.
like a lot of people don't do that enough.
Nah.
So.
No, mindfulness is it's a rare thing these days, and people push it a lot. I mean, the schools have been pushing it because it helps with grades, but nobody really takes it that seriously. A lot of people are sleeping on the mindfulness train, I guess you can call it.
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely it's a lot more prevalent nowadays than it was back in our parents' time,
Mm-hmm.
and even especially our grandparents' time. It's so like stigmatized, like mental health and stuff like that is like if you have anything wrong with your psyche or any kind of malfunction, you might have even things like anxiety, depression, and then more extreme things like schizophrenia and things. Those things are so stigmatized and people are so embarrassed about them. But I think nowadays it's getting more accepted, and we're realizing it's very important, especially with this. There's so many people that are our parents' generation that end up committing suicide, and I mean my father was one of them, and it's like well, that's because they their parents, first of all, very stigmatized with their generation. And, it takes an evolution of getting less stigmatized through generations so that we can actually address the issue, look at look it straight on and do something about it rather than just ignore it. Because I think when you ignore things, they seem to fester and cause problems.
Absolutely.
Tons of problems.
Yeah, going back to the eras and how they've all looked at mental health differently.
Yeah.
Back before PTSD from combat was like a thing, they used to just call it shell shock or even cowardice.
Yeah.
Like, homie, what do you expect? I just saw this dude's head get blown off in front of me. Like,
yeah.
I'm a little traumatized.
Mm-hmm.
So, and even with suicide, it's a hard conversation to have because nobody wants to have the conversation. Nobody wants to say, hey, I'm going through some shit. I could really use somebody to listen, really use somebody to talk to. It's tough. But we've made breakthroughs. We're definitely evolving when it comes to taking care of the psych part of ourselves, taking care of our mental health more so than we were before.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious that it'd be stigmatized because it's putting yourself in a very vulnerable place, and I think vulnerability, it sucks when you're vulnerable. You don't want to put yourself in that place, which is why, it's a good idea to get a therapist or someone that obviously legally cannot let that information out. I think it's really important. Therapy, but I think it's just so expensive, especially for, people who aren't in school. They don't have that they don't have it free, like people in school, we have free. We have counselors, we have therapists for free. Not all of us, though, because some universities actually surprisingly have, a limited number of times a semester you can actually visit the school therapist, which I think is ridiculous. Yeah.
Wow.
It's fucking stupid, but yeah. It's just a state of vulnerability. You have to move past that fear of vulnerability if you really want to address it, because you were in the military. You know that vulnerability brings strength. You went through boot camp. Mm-hmm. They break you down, build you right back up. Way stronger than you were before.
Yeah, sorry about my dog.
It's all right.
He's in here making all this noise. I'm trying to keep him out of the room so he doesn't make so much noise. Now he's beating on the door. I'm going to abuse you if you keep it up. I hope the mic picked that up. But yeah, basic training, it taught me a lot. More so that the team dynamic and the structure kind of stuff.
Yeah.
More than anything, but as far as it went with mental health, they didn't really talk about ways that we could help ourselves cope with some of the stuff we were going to experience or see or deal with. Mm-hmm. And I feel like something like that implemented early on can help out. Sorry about the edit there. I had to cut it up a little bit. I apologize. But getting back into the discussion, Tanner, you said earlier that your father had committed suicide.
Yeah, I was 14 years old, and he was in a relationship with this woman that I called my stepmother, but she was really just his girlfriend. I was a young kid. I was kind of ignorant. I didn't have the best relationship with my father just because he was just, at the time, was very angry and was just trying to please his girlfriend, and just had a hard time keeping jobs. He was a veteran as well.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about that.
Yeah, he was in the Navy, but yeah, he was an artist like I am. He sculpted from wood and styrofoam. He worked parts of his life, he made something for NASA. He helped make something for them. I can't remember exactly what that was. I forgot the Joint Force Strike Fighter program, something like that. He worked on Broadway sets. He made sets for shows and
talented guy.
Yeah,
for sure, talented.
So, but I think a lot of artists and veterans, for that matter, have issues, have complications with mental illness, and even like that flag you got right there, the 22 veteran. Mm-hmm. So I think people are starting to realize that a lot more.
They are. A a lot of the times with artists, when it comes to artists, there's so much thought outside of the regular day. Yeah. Like, this is how my day is going to go kind of thing. They think so outside of the box that they think too far outside, and they start to question existence and the existential stuff. Yeah. And it just gets so deep that I mean, I know with me, like, I'll start thinking about one thing, and it'll just take me down a road of, like, fuck, why am I even here? Yeah. And I mean, it's tough to get by. It's tough to work through.
Well, I think it's definitely our situation. Mm-hmm. Creativity evolved from us because, well, that's why we're here today, is because of our creative motivations. Oh, yeah. It's basically just because we had to figure out smart ways of doing things, how to kill animals, how to, cook our food, or not cook our food, but we chose to cook our food, which grew our brain, and then we just kind of went from there. It's like creativity, you need bounds for that. You need boundaries. You need things. Okay, I can't do that, but what can I do within these boundaries? And then that's how creativity should work, and that's a healthy way to have creativity. But nowadays, we have plenty of everything. Everything's convenient, especially here in America. We just get everything we don't really need to work for anything. We don't have any real stress on us. Yes. So it's like we have this creativity still, or at least a lot of us. There's a lot of people who are not creative, and that's true. Like, not everyone is creative, but the people who are creative, a lot of times don't have an actual good outlet for that creativity. So if you don't have a good outlet for that, it's not really fulfilling your creative needs. A lot of times we just kind of assume that creativity needs boundlessness, that it's just free and open. But really, creativity needs something that you need to struggle against, or you need purpose in your creation, which is why I'm not a big fan of abstract art, though my father was an abstract artist. Mm-hmm. But I like art that has symbols that mean things, things you can connect, using an image to explain something that would take a whole book to talk about with language. Which is why I like art so much. You can use an image to express something so profound. Right. There's a difference between signs and symbols. And signs are like the things we, not letters. Letters and words for things. Like cow was a sign for the object of a cow. Mm-hmm. But symbols are something that express something more mysterious. So, like the cross. It's
kind of vague. Yeah. Kind of more vague unless you know the background. You don't understand the symbol. Yeah.
That's, I think, meaning, for me at least, not for everybody, but in terms of creativity and making art, I need to have meaning in my art. Otherwise, I'm not fulfilled. And me and my father had this thing where it's just all creative people have, it's like you're a tree, and I'm getting this from Jordan Peterson, kind of, so it's like, you have traits of your personality, and it's like you are a tree, and the biggest traits, the most basic traits of you are like the main limbs that grow out from the roots. And for some people that's
you're good.
Conscientiousness and openness and organization, and then there's creativity. And so you usually have 3 or 4 main branches of really who you are that you have to fulfill to be fulfilled. You have to do those things to feel happy, to feel complete. And so if you're an artist or a creative person, you're kind of cursed because you can't really, it's hard to make profit off beauty, or
because it's subjective.
Yeah, it's a very subjective thing. There's not a big demand for it, though. But it's also very necessary for us to live. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not Christian, but in the Bible it says, I'm not Christian, trust me. In the Bible it says, man does not live solely off bread and water. We need something to move us forward. We make meaning out of things because we're creative. If you don't have meaning, you're going to be unfulfilled, which is why a lot of artists, they don't correctly orient themselves to where their talents are being met with their fulfillment, and so they just feel lost and meaningless. They lose that meaning, and then that leads to a lot of things. And then also that thing where we're talking about free association, their neural connections are making so many weird connections that seem unrelated to the average organized person, and so it just kind of makes it exposes the person, puts them in that state of vulnerability to chaos, because that's what art is you're taking nature. So you have a dream about something, or you have a thought, or you have, an imagistic representation of something, and then you act and you kind of try to articulate the nature from it, and then that reciprocates into culture, and so that's how it works. And so you put yourself in a state of vulnerability because nature is chaos. So you put yourself in there. It's pretty scary. It's pretty it's nerve-wracking, and the way that you think will introduce you to chaos too much, and some people can't handle that.
Oh, for sure.
Which is why people end up committing suicide or end up developing things like schizophrenia. Comes from that too much free association.
Going back to where we started, when we were talking about how life has kind of gotten a little too easy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like that's the case with America? Like, things may be a little too. We may have everything kind of handed to us, or we might have a little bit of a. Even though we have a leg up, it might be too much of a leg up. It might be too. A lot of stuff seems like it's kind of handed to us.
We've put ourselves in a weird situation that's not entirely. It's now kind of. It's weird because a lot of the situations we're in are not actually up to us now.
No.
We've created them,
No.
but now we have these things like corporations.
Yeah.
They are almost like entities that are like doing their own thing, and the
Yeah.
way that they work, no matter who. There's no one. I mean, there's some people at the top, but really, it itself is causing the problems, and it's like because people over here benefit from this thing, so they need to do this, and people over here don't benefit from that thing, but they benefit from this thing. So there's always somebody that's not getting their share, but the people that are consuming from these corporations, especially in America, these corporations are very based on convenience, and because we're a fast nation. We always.
When was the last time somebody went out and killed something and ate it?
We're
like
just,
consistently. Like, it seems. Yeah, I know there's the hunter class. There's people who live out in the country, and that's what they do. They go out, they kill a deer, they'll cook it up, and it's actually. It's good meat. Yeah. But when was the last time the average person did that out here in America? Like, it's
in rural countrysides, yes,
it's
happens,
it's normal
but
there.
Culturally, globally, well, not
globally.
Not globally, but what I mean is in those areas that are connected globally in America, the cities, the suburbs, it's it's very disconnected from nature. It's very consumed in the culture, but this culture is one of efficiency. And it goes past the efficiency, it just goes to convenience. So it's the easiest thing to do, and that's just how it happened. That's their trend, is efficiency, but then that turns into convenience. And so we think that we kind of had this assumption that the easier things are, the happier we'll be, which is not the case.
Oh, no.
And it's like, so we have, we're always in a rush. We're always going somewhere. We're rude to each other. We're disconnected. We're just, and what I see it as is, symbolically, it's like the way that I think about it is like, so we live on this planet. It's nature. It's a stone, and then all these things that we create on top of it are the tools that help us navigate and make our own food and stuff like that. But then it gets to a point where we build up this hologram from the stone, which is just an illusion. And that illusion is these corporations and these things that are saying, if you buy from us, you'll be happier. If you do these things,
Consumer culture.
Yeah, consumer culture. And so we just assume the more we buy, the happier we'll be. So we're very lost, and everything's too convenient. And what I think everyone needs to do for themselves and for other people, because we live in a network, we're not just individuals. Because everything we do, everyone's watching. Just remember that. Like, just realize that you affect people around you way more than you think you do. And what I think people need to do is find something that makes them struggle a little bit, that they like doing. It gives them a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah, like exercise.
Like exercise is a good start.
Art,
and
writing.
It can be anything. You don't have to have, it'll spark, because we're not all creative, but we all have that tendency to be creative if we're in the face of struggle. And I think that's what you need to actually find that fulfillment, find that, and it's not necessarily happiness either. It's just kind of peace and productivity and not feeling meaningless. Because I think the more you do, the less you think, the more connected you are.
Right.
And the more connected you are, it doesn't matter what's going on. As long as you're doing the right thing and you're working and doing whatever you need and staying on a strict schedule, you're going to feel fine. Unless, obviously there's certain things, like chemical imbalance in your brain and stuff, which we have medication for. But and that's another thing, too. Medication for mental health.
It's overdone.
Yeah.
It's so overdone. I can't tell you. So one of the reasons I jumped into mental health work in psychology and hopefully future work in social work, while I was in the Army, I was chilling on the desk one day, the CQ desk, which is like you just sit on guard in the barracks, make sure nobody kills themselves or somebody else or drinks too much. And dude comes in and his pocket's just rattling. It's like rattling with meds. And I was like, yo, like, you just carry meds on you all the time? He's like, yeah, I have to. Like, I have to take these meds or else, I'm going to have a panic attack or I'm going to freak out. And it's upsetting because there's so much more that can be done other than just shoving these pills down somebody's throat. There can be so many more therapeutic versions of this, like taking them out fishing, taking them out exploring nature, like getting one with nature. And it was funny because you brought up how we're disconnected from nature, but if you go into like an office or something, there's always a picture of a mountainscape or of a hillside somewhere or of farmlands, and it's like it's supposed to be calming. Well, I mean, yeah, it's calming, but shit, why don't we just go out there? You got to have the picture in here because it's so far away. Exactly.
And that, it's back to the symbols, a symbolic representation of what we yearn for, nature. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that makes a lot of sense that we'd have these things. And but I think medicine, it can be helpful or it can be hurtful. And the reason I say helpful is because, well, what I will say is when it comes to mental health, so you can be healthy or you can be unhealthy, but it can be due to different causes. It can be either be an internal cause or an external cause. An external cause is usually something in your life that you can or can't control that's outside of yourself. That if you can't help it, then that's what you should do. You shouldn't take medication. Mm-hmm. If you can't help it, then you should ignore it. Unless you really can't. I mean, that's a different story.
There's certain people that fit categories that need medication.
There's
that's
nuances
completely understandable.
And that's when it comes into interior issues, which is things like, complexes or conditions or
schizophrenia kind of stuff,
or something that happens to be like your personality type or your physiology, like what your imbalance of chemicals in your brain. Mm-hmm. That's when you should take medication.
I think a lot of it started too back in the early 2000s because I was one of those kids where it was like I went to the doctor and the doctor was like, "Oh yeah, he's got ADHD.
Yeah, they did the same thing.
Here's a prescription. Just fucking knock this kid out over the head with some Ritalin and he'll be fine."
Yeah, and it was I didn't eat or anything.
Yeah,
and then they tried to diaghnose me with an eating disorder.
Yeah,
it's like,
I became a zombie in elementary school because I was on these meds and like I was not the same kid. And then I moved to Strattera and then I just got off of it completely. But like being on that stuff at such a young age for no other reason but the fact that I was a kid who had energy and was ready to explore and like just have fun and be a kid.
Try to fit you in a box.
They're like, "Hey, congratulations, you've got ADHD. Here's your free bottle of..." Yeah. And it's aggravating because like that's how this epidemic kind of started. I mean, you look at West Virginia now, people are ODing constantly on drugs to get rid of pain. People are diagnosed with all these disorders that are honestly kind of bullshit. Like, it's not even, some of this stuff isn't even a disorder. Like, some of it's legitimately just
the human nature, and we just have to deal with it. Yeah. We're, again, too into convenience to actually face problems. Yeah. And it's just festering this whole... There's huge aspects that our culture ignores that will just fester and eventually burst open. Mm-hmm. Those negative things that we can't face will eventually come back to bite us.
Oh, yeah. Now, as far as it goes with like coping and working on oneself, I've been sitting on thoughts about religion. I have my own personal views. A lot of people, I can respect them for their views in religion. I'm not here to bash religion whatsoever. Yeah. It's just, for me, it's hard to wrap my mind around it a lot of the time. It's a great thing. I think it helps a lot of people. I think it gives people hope, courage, strength. I mean, you name it. Honestly, I think religion does help. most people, but most people who are partaking in the religion. But for me, I can't metaphorically drink the Kool-Aid. I can't.
No.
Because you brought up Christianity earlier.
Yeah.
And you don't have to. I mean, even if you were a Christian, that's fine. I encourage people to pursue whatever religion makes them happy. Because at the end of the day, this is your life.
Yeah.
You're going to be the one that takes it long term. Or I can't tell you, hey, that's stupid. Like, that. What's my place? You're not hurting anybody. Now the people who are hurting people,
fuck them.
Yeah, fuck those guys. Like ISIS, fuck those guys.
Yeah.
Like they were throwing homosexuals off of rooftops, tied up. Yeah. They were throwing them off of rooftops just because they were gay. I was like, dude, I want to go over there.
Yeah, well, I have something to say about terrorism too, but first I'll address that. The issue about religion is very complex and very touchy. I want to try my best to explain my take on it based on what I've read, what I've heard, what I've kind of processed in my own mind, my own experiences. And what it seems to be, what it boils down to is there's a couple different phases of how religion plays out. And I'd like to say maybe 3 main phases. And the first phase, though, all begins with the personal, mystical experience of the individual. So in ancient times, people would assist in this by taking certain drugs, or they might put a coming of age, do a coming of age ceremony where they throw a young man out in the wilderness and with nothing, and he starts to hallucinate, goes psychotic, and then comes back from that, out of that thing. So with vision and with things to say, and even back the origins of fasting in a lot of religions are because if you don't eat food or don't drink water for a bit, you're going to start hallucinating and then have these divine visions. So it's this mystical experience, this personal thing that is this weird phenomenon we have. You don't necessarily need drugs to have it. I've had, you can have them in dreams. You can have them just completely sober, just out of the blue, and it doesn't necessarily mean you're hallucinating. It's just a mystical experience. It's something so subjective, and the thing is, what is experience? Is it real or is it not real? And then that depends on your definition of real, because real is an interesting thing to talk about, because what is real? You tend to think, well, material is real, but I mean, really, material is just the expression of kind of like an energy. If you really think about it, and then what you're seeing is just a symbol that you've made in your mind of that object. It's not really real. I mean, what about mathematics? That's not physical, but it's more real than the objects that are subject to it.
Right.
So these experiences, there's nothing to say if they are real, if they aren't real. There's, so you can, that's where meaning comes from. And so that's where you're kind of a meaning maker. Now, if you look at it as it goes, you realize each individual will have this. Almost everyone will have at least one mystical experience, and then they'll, with their use of language, will be able to express that and kind of talk about it with other people in our communities. And then that's where it's like, okay, I had the same. Oh, look, that was really similar to yours, And then they start building these little systems of how to behave and how to function in their own little groups, so that they can live together in peace and with these similar ideas, they can relate to, and they have these. That's where culture was kind of born. These mystical experiences that are based on symbols. They're very symbolic, and then it goes to the second phase. Like I said, it goes to the community, and that's when it's like kind of a tribal, like religion, and you have all these little pockets of people everywhere that don't know about each other, and you'll notice that every culture seems to have these very reoccurring symbols that seem to mean the same thing. And that's where it goes to the Jungian idea of the collective unconscious, where it's basically the unconscious part of us that are connected to everybody else, and it's these symbols that pop up in these cultures all around the world that are completely separate. And those are like these ideas of a god and of like a woman figure who's kind of like, someone that's close to God, and just gods in general. And we kind of personify nature through these symbols that we get from our unconscious during dreams or these visions. And so we have the second phase, these little tribal languages. And then as we get more global and connect with each other, we'll meet up at a certain point and we'll talk about ours, and then there'll be differences because there's so many different people. So then people start like, wait, that doesn't go with mine, that doesn't go with... And so then they start butting out the people that they, that doesn't agree with them, and
right.
then it turns into a global religion.
Somehow it's like a competition.
Yeah. And the religions that were the best at conquering and getting people to convert. So it starts going from that mystical unity, that love and that compassion
Divine.
To start being, because it puts you in a state of vulnerability, like we said before. And so vulnerability is dangerous because it can go one of two ways. It can go to love and compassion, or it can go to hate and murder. And so it's like, well, that's our choice. That doesn't mean that religion itself is bad. It means it's our way of dealing with it. And if there's people in power, they might, if they're, disingenuous people, they're going to take this and make people fear. And that's what I think a huge amount of religion is now, is just fear instead of love.
Absolutely.
Which it should be. But now it's just these people running around, if you don't do this, you go to hell. Yeah. So now people can control because they have you in a state of vulnerability. Yeah. Just why religion is so touchy, because it puts people in a religious...
You want some water, man? Here, take some water.
Man. Appreciate it.
But going off of what you were saying, though, when you're younger and they're telling you, you do this, you're going to go to hell, you do that, you're going to go to hell, they're messing with a young, undeveloped brain, right? And they're teaching it these things that, hey, this right here, this is the standard. This is what you have to do. This is what you're going to do. You're my kid, like, you have to do it this way. And I feel like that's why there's been so much pushback on religion, is because once these kids, some of them, when they grow up, they go, wow, this just feels so, this doesn't feel right. Something about this doesn't feel right. But then there's others who are just so involved in it, and they're so dedicated to their family or to their God or deity, whoever it may be.
Yeah.
It becomes their personality. It becomes who they are. Yeah. Which I feel like at some point, if you lose your identity because of a religion, like what did you really even gain? Like you have to maintain that individuality. Like you're still you. Mm-hmm. You're not a representative of your Lord. Like you have to do your own thing.
Yeah, that's another part that I really don't like. Maybe it might not be hate and murder and stuff like that, but it's also kind of this thing that's like a dehumanization.
Yeah.
They look at other people and they say, oh, that person's not good enough.
Exactly.
And it's like, that sucks. And then it's also, what sucks is it's a huge loss for the person, because they're basically, it's like those people that only speak in movie quotes, those people who only speak in memes.
I'm personally attacked.
It's like they take these subjects and they make them themselves. I think that's so stupid. I think you should really, like, look at what you're good at, look at your tendencies, and accept them, and then make them the best you can. Like, don't look at something else, like a big cultural poster board, and be like, that is me, and imprint yourself on that like a fucking finger painter. I just...
Rebuttal.
I
got a rebuttal on that one.
Yeah?
That being said, if movies and memes are art, why can you not use art as like a discussion point, as a talking point? Why can you not utilize art as like a way of discussion?
What do you mean?
Because like you're saying the people who talk in movie quotes or in memes, that I can't remember exactly, but it was something along the lines of like, find who you are and like be you kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So, but going back to art, because we were talking about art.
Yeah.
Do you think memes are art? I personally think they're art. I think certain memes have the comedic quality to the extent where they classify as art.
They're definitely an act of creativity. Mm-hmm. Now, so I had to write the definition of art in a philosophy class, and I said it's any image. Well, okay, so yeah, it's a symbol. So it's a symbol. Mm-hmm. That's what art is. It's a symbol of nature into culture. I can't remember exactly what I said, but if I had developed it and written it now, I would have said it's a symbol that reciprocates nature and culture, because it extracts from nature, puts in a culture, and that culture comes back out into nature through this collective unconscious that Carl Jung talked about. Now, I think that everything is an act of creativity. You could say that this computer was art at its very first stage, when the designer designed it. Because it's art. I mean, part of it is beauty. I think art is just a word, but I think you could say pretty much anything is art, but it's just that because it's a word, you can't make it mean everything, so you have to kind of suggest that art would mean like paintings and sculptures. But if you really think about it, yeah, it could turn into these things like memes, because if you think about it, you're using symbols to express an idea. And it's a clever one, which makes it subjective. So clever, that's not an objective thing. If we think something's clever or wise or funny, that's subjective.
Yeah.
That's
you could say something dumb as shit, and somebody would be like, that was real clever, and you'll be like, no, that's...
Yeah, but for them, it made meaning. It made a psychological fact. Yes, that meaning lines up. So, yeah, it could be an art, I think, and religion is art, because it's an expression, a creative expression of nature. So, because it came from our little mystical experiences, which were just a spontaneous thing that happened from nature. So, yeah, so I think pretty much anything is art, man. I just would say memes, though. I wouldn't say, yo, you seen that art about, like, fucking the guy saying, like, blinking, or whatever that meme is. I don't know. But you know what I mean?
Well, wait till a meme museum opens up. I guarantee you. I will put $20 on it that in our lifetime, a meme museum will open up somewhere.
Well, I think we already have it.
Where?
Twitter.
The internet, yeah.
I don't think you need a museum.
You don't even need to go anywhere.
That takes away from the convenience.
Well, that's the thing. You got to go so off course with it, because as Americans, that's just what we do. We take it to the next extreme.
And then people are like, okay, I'm gonna go there. Fucking
where is it? Michigan? The meme.
Yeah, Michigan. The Michigan Meme Museum.
They would
I love the alliteration.
Just so it's an alliteration. We'd have to find a city in Michigan.
Missoula.
What is that? A fucking Mississippi state?
Missoula? I think it's...
Missoula does sound familiar, though.
I think it's still in an M state, though, so I think you could still have the meme museum there.
Let's see.
I really wanted to.
M states.
Missoula. Let's search up Missoula.
I don't know if Missoula is a place.
It is a real place.
No way.
I've definitely heard of it. Look. I even know how to spell it. M-I-S-S.
I-S-S.
O-U-L-A, I think.
L-A.
Yeah, see?
Missoula, Montana.
Montana.
That's exactly where they need to put
Actually, I think that's too far out west. I think people would get too lazy. I think once anything goes past Iowa, people on the East Coast don't go there. Yeah.
They bail.
But, maybe people on the West Coast. But I feel like the West Coast is more healthy. I feel the South is the least healthy.
Don't go too far west. I don't know if it's that healthy.
Hawaii's definitely the healthiest. I mean, it's the farthest west,
If we look at population, there's an awful lot of old people living there. Oh, dude, if you live in Alaska, you're hard as shit.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, you gotta survive those snowstorms and, like, dude, they have that 30 days a night type
Actually,
shit?
that's weird. I just had a dream about that last night. Nature. Converting into culture through a podcast. Oh my god.
Dude, after this, you're going to have to start up your own podcast.
I know, man.
That's going to be dope. You're going to have to have me on.
What would I call it?
Oculus, the podcast.
Enter yourself.
Don't do that.
Okay, you're going to cut that part out, right?
Enter yourself.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, yes, Missoula, Montana. Museum.
See, I gotta give credit to Montana though. If we're talking nature, dude, look at that. Look at where are you gonna find places like that these days? Virginia's got a few.
Far Cry 5.
Far Cry 5. I do want to play that though.
Go on Images, bro. Go on Images.
Ooh, you want to talk about something?
Do you think Taco Bell sounds good as fuck?
Oh, well, I didn't know we were talking about Taco Bell, but we can do Taco Bell. Hey, do you think shooting games make people commit mass shootings?
Oh, what the No, definitely not.
I'm just curious because I personally, I'm the whole correlation does not mean causation, kind of thing. I've played plenty of first-person shooter games. I also completely understand that this is the real. I think I understand that this is the real. But
association.
Exactly. I'm playing along. So there's video games. There's real life. Sure, I might go to the range and shoot at the range, but I'm not gonna go to a school.
Yeah, I mean, I think
it's just I don't, and the fact that it's the president saying that shit, like I got nothing personally against Trump, and I'm not also a Trump supporter.
Oh shit, politics.
I'm like in the middle, right? And it's not even politics, man. Because I hear this shit from old ladies all the time, too. It's those damn video games. I'm like, it's not. I promise you. If anything, your kids...
Sorry, Charlene.
You know what I was playing in senior year of high school? I was playing Minecraft along with Call of Duty. Do you think somebody who shoots a place up was playing Minecraft? That's too innocent of a game. You're not going to shoot anything up playing Minecraft.
Yeah. I've seen people make some fucked up shit on Minecraft, though.
Oh, yeah, of course. That's the troll of it all.
I mean, I think it depends on two things. I think people who commit those terrible crimes either are mentally ill.
Absolutely.
Or they're not mentally ill, and they're just easily...
Influence, maybe?
Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for.
Because probably not by... I mean, maybe video games, but... I mean,
but it's not video games. It's usually cultural influence.
Exactly.
Or, like... A video game is just a video game, and it's just kind of an outlet. It's not really an input thing. Well, I mean, it is in culture, but like it's like has its own place. It's video games. It doesn't like culturally. Search up, video games aren't gonna. Well, now they are because
VR it's getting real.
Well, no, what I'm talking about is like now it's in the culture. They're talking about it, but they're just making up a problem that doesn't exist.
Right.
But they might make it a problem if they make it exist.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. But, I mean, these days, everything's getting made into a problem. It's this whole rage culture. Like, everybody gets super bent out of shape over slight shit. And don't get me wrong, I know there's serious shit going on out there, but some shit's just like, what are you complaining about? Like, what is your stance even anymore? I don't know.
People start getting confused and their arguments start to contradict. And that's when people are part of ideologies. Which I think, like, religions are an ideology. Yeah, there's other ideologies, too, that aren't religious. Sometimes they're political, social, and people are consumed by the rules of that ideology. They don't actually know the facts. They're just spitting back what they've been told, just like a religious person would. But, yeah.
Dude, I know when I was a kid, my dad was like, you're going to go to church, you're going to go to church. Always, it was about going to church. Pretty sure he just wanted the free chicken that was there at the end of the service, I think he just liked the fact that there was a meal there, but he was always taking me to church, and I was like, I don't even know anybody here. I never know anybody at these churches you take me to. But I'm in the, Sunday services and stuff, so it's like... I just didn't feel connected to the idea at all. Like, I was not about it when it came to church and stuff. And then being forced to do it was... It was the first time that you're in your life and you're like, holy fuck, I'm not even in control. Like, I don't even get a choice type shit, you know what I mean? You start to question, like, why is this the purpose of religion, to, like, force somebody to enjoy it?
Well, that's the crazy thing. The people that made it so powerful and fear-ridden... They're really the reason that we are forced to do these things, because they make the tradition
and the money
that way. Like, I mean, not the current people, but people historically that have used religion for fear. They have like put it into the minds of generations, and then they've made those generations who become parents, have kids, and then they make those kids feel guilty, and they just push them into it. Really, the source was from those people that made it fear.
Mm-hmm.
Like, fear-like, which is why nowadays people who go to church go like, okay, we gotta go to church again. A lot of people, like, people are like...
Oh, I gotta go to church.
Yeah. Like, a lot of people, I mean, other than Jordan, they're not really that excited to go to church. They just feel like it's an obligation. I mean, they make themselves love it sometimes, which is why you see people like, oh, we love church.
Yeah.
Or they actually love it because they think it's beautiful or whatever their subjective situation might be.
Right.
Or they're forced into it. They're like, okay, I don't want to go to hell.
Yeah.
And that's like the majority of the population.
Right.
And yeah, I just think that it just really restricts people.
Yeah.
And makes them just fearful. It's just fear. There's not actually anything that they're holding back. Like religion was supposed to be like a shoulder to lean on, you know? And now it's kind of like a thing to feel obliged to do things by.
Forced almost.
Yeah.
Dude, think back to like... Well, actually, before I get into that thought, I brought up money a second ago.
Oh, money.
Have you seen people like this dude, Joel Osteen? Joel Osteen is his name?
No, who's that?
Look at this man. Look at this man. All right. This man runs one of these...
like Seinfeld.
He runs one of the biggest TV church things, right?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so...
He looks
now
rich.
Check this out, man. All he does is this church shit, right? And he goes... Look at that God-damned house.
Good for him.
Bro, he is playing the system. Look at that. Ladies and gentlemen, this house is like 12 houses put into one with some houses on the side.
It's nice and everything.
Dog, come on, dude. How much of the money from the church is going into this? Come on.
What a douchebag.
I mean, I get it.
I don't even really like the design. I mean, yeah, like a lot of people be like, oh, it's a beautiful house.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't disagree with you, but if I were to have my own mansion, man, I would, that shit would be like that one right there.
That's another one of his. That's another one of his.
Oh, yeah, that's how it would be. Well, okay.
He owns like multiple properties. And it's not, okay, I appreciate the guy. Look at his crowds, bro. You can't even see the stage from where the camera's at.
Wow.
$10.5 million mansion. All right. I can't hate. He played the game and he played it right.
Oh, God, that was...
But this man is kind of a turd.
That's my impression of the crowds.
Boo. I want closer seats.
It's a moo, bro.
Oh, they're cows because they're cattle.
Sheep.
I get it. I never hear B's and M's when people do the oohs.
Oh, yeah.
It was Jared.
Moo.
Jared from Quest. He was like, boo. And I was like, who are you booing, dude? That's rude. He was like, oh, no, I was mooing. I was like, what? Am I deaf?
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. I have 10% on my disability for hearing loss.
Really?
Hell yeah, dude. I was shooting artillery all the time. This shit was so loud.
At least you don't have tinnitus, bro.
I do occasionally.
Damn.
It'll come in and out.
Sucks.
Yeah. It does suck, but it's not severe. Like,
oh, good. Yeah, I heard some people have it.
Oh, dude, if I had it all the time, I would be so irritable. I'd be ready to fight everybody. Damn. Anything else you want to talk about, dog? Before we hop off, we're at about 48 minutes. We can go longer if you'd like.
48 minutes? Holy shit.
Is that a lot or no?
Oh, man, it just felt like it went by pretty quick.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, just don't shake that, that's all.
I mean, if you have anything else.
Let's see, we covered art.
Religion.
We covered psychology, religion, like you wanted to. We came up with a little script beforehand, everybody, so that we wouldn't come across quiet parts. But now we're starting
got across politics and
we
money.
did. We had some politic talk.
I think we
definitely some money talk. Joel Osteen, get off my damn TV.
Actually, we didn't really have money talk. We just talked about how Joel Osteen was rich.
Yeah, we just talked about. All right. Okay. We'll do a creative one this time.
Creative.
Your mansion.
Okay.
Build it for us. Like not like specs. Like I just need to know like what rooms.
Oh man. Okay.
What like space you want?
Have a Christian prayer room.
Okay, and also like the style and where would you put it?
Okay, where would I put it? Yeah. First of all, I'll get the setting. Somewhere in Southern Europe. Or Missoula, Montana.
Or Missoula, Montana.
So then I'd be close to the meme museum.
Yeah, then we'll build the meme museum. If you build it, they will come.
Yes.
Meme Museum 2020. Everybody, start funding the movement.
I'm gonna create my mansion. The first part of my mansion will be the meme museum.
Yeah. Every day you worship a different meme too. So you go in there. Joel Osteen makes a guest appearance. Shows off the meme of the day. Hallelujah! Thank you, Jesus, for this meme.
Hell yeah! That will be yes.
Yes.
That will be a meme within itself.
Oh, absolutely.
Symbols.
Here is your Southern Europe choices. What
All
do you
right.
got?
Okay. So Greece.
You're gonna go with Greece?
Debt. No.
No. Okay.
They're in debt. So fuck that.
Fuck Greece.
Maybe Corsica. I've never heard of that.
Corsica. Okay.
Corsica. But
no,
maybe
dude, Corsica's hot looking. Look at that shit. Boy. That's it.
Yeah,
They got
I mean that's on
coves
an
and
island
shit.
too, bro. Yeah, I might have to go with the Corsica.
Oh yeah.
That's where I'd have
I
it.
mean, these
Corsica,
people are reckless
Corsica.
living on the side of the cliffs.
I would not put on the. Hopefully they have some actual beaches that you can build on. It looks like they do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I might have it near some cliffs, but also near a beach,
Right.
and kind of a little bit close to the city, but not inside the city.
Okay.
Outside the city, and I would have a garage.
Tight.
I might not. I don't know if I'd have supercars, but I definitely would have a BMW. And I'd have to go with an Italian car of some sort. And that's how I would get to city and back. But then once I got to city, they probably have little cities that you can actually walk around.
Hell yeah.
And this would be like Italian kind of like style.
Italian
I'd
style
have
house.
I'd have my father's sculptures around.
That's awesome.
And I'd have my own sculptures if I sculpted at the time.
Right.
I would have
Ooh.
somewhere that people could do art.
I like that one.
I'd have a vineyard
Ooh.
right next to it.
The wine guy, huh?
Yeah. In a room. And several rooms. Maybe if I wasn't married, I'd have some ladies living there.
Oh wow, like Dan Bilzerian.
But if I was married, I probably just would have a couple rooms. Nothing too ridiculous. Just something nice. And, yeah, definitely a really good surround sound system.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Just something nice. A good
Anything
table
else?
where everyone can sit at.
Oh, big table.
Big table. Where everyone.
Gotta host a good dinner.
Yeah. I'd be able to host dinners and stuff.
Especially housewarming type, you know. Gotta welcome everybody to the new abode.
And of course a barbecue area.
Mm-hmm.
You can have all your friends buy, you buy the Oscar Mayers and they get the buns and the ice cubes for the root beers.
Not for the root beers.
I'm not 21.
Good old American party.
But by then, yeah, have some IPAs and
IPAs.
Yeah. In the cooler and have everyone's families over down in Corsica.
Hell yeah.
I'd build my own cut down a bunch of trees. And,
personally? Can you do it personally?
No, and build my own airport there if they don't have one. And fly all my friends in, and
on what? What do they find?
Bring in a petroleum factory, ruin the atmosphere of the Mediterranean Sea, and further plummet our global situation.
Sounds like an invasion.
Worse global warming. Have a big blimp that farts out pollution.
That's how it propels itself, right?
Just,
like little tooths.
Yeah.
Or a long quiet one that goes.
Be like, have you ever played the game Sly Cooper?
Oh, I know Sly. I didn't play it, but I know Sly.
The very first mission. No, not the very first. The second mission. You have to go to this island in the Caribbean, and there's this frog that owns this big blimp that shoots out a bunch of pollution. And that's just his thing.
That's just what he does.
So you have to shoot down the blimp, basically.
It's just who I am.
That's how my island is going to be. I'm going to have a big blimp and a bunch of security making sure that I just wreak havoc on the earth.
Nice. Nice.
Hypothetically.
I don't know if hypothetically. I would straight up do. It's tough. It really is tough. I like the big cabin, mansion kind of stuff. So
you want to be out in the boreal forests.
Yeah.
Pine forests.
Ooh. Mansion. What was I gonna wood cabin mansion. All right, so I get I get a wood cabin mansion, right? I'd get enough property to adventure on and shit. get somewhere that's like moderate weather so that I get snow and sun type shit. Definitely a home theater.
See, I'd want that for winter.
Definitely
I
a
don't know
home
about
theater.
summer.
Oh hell yeah, dude! If you get by a river or close to a lake or something, there's not that many big bodies of water anymore because of all the pollution.
Oh, what about ski trails though?
Ski trails would be tight. I would probably snowboard more
Snowboard, yeah.
because that's what the cool guys do.
I would probably snowboard.
Yeah,
Honestly,
snowboarding's for the bros.
Yeah.
Definitely a home theater. I would probably have my own at-home arcade with a bunch of classic and new games. So like you would play Galaga next to a Terminator shooter game thing that you can play at like the movie theater. I love those games. Get drunk as fuck with my friends and play
Oh
those.
yeah.
Because I'm 25. Yeah.
25.
Yeah.
I've never drank anything in my life.
Hey Tanner, you ain't gotta lie to kick it with the homies. I'm just joking. But anyways, home theater, arcade, definitely a tap room. For some beer.
Oh yeah.
I'd probably give my dog his own room for real. Pimp that shit out, I'm going with a bachelor pad right now just because I'm trying to live my best life.
Yeah.
I would also, outside of the perimeter, have castles built, like little ones, little watchtowers style castles.
Whoa, that's pretty cool.
On the corners, right? And then I'd have straight up like a wood fence around it, like a castle would have, just for the sake of it looks cool. Like I don't even have any plans. Like I'm not hiding anything. I just want a cool castle, fort, and then I would have. Let's see what else. I want a big ass basement, like furnished big basement.
You should have the fort where your dog's house is.
Oh, that'd be tight. A dog house that's like a fucking
castle. It's like a huge castle.
Hell yeah.
And you have a fence around the whole property, so you have that fort.
Yeah,
so he can still be an outside or indoor, and he can go and choose. A full house for him, and a big dispenser that's hooked up to a computer that only empties at certain times of the day.
Oh,
so
he gets like a fucking dope bone every day. Yeah.
But then you might lose love for him because
you never see him anymore. He's like a teenage son. He's like, I'm gonna go out and hang out with my friends.
Like a farm cat.
He's a farm cat. You never see him, but he does his job. Yeah, that's hilarious. But definitely would have a side by side, a little little ATV 4x4 type deal.
Yeah.
Like a Polaris or some shit. I would have a huge set of property just to play paintball on, for sure, because I fuck with paintball. I definitely fuck with paintball, y'all. I would definitely get that. I guess a cool pool or something, a helicopter pad. I've always wanted to learn how to fly a helicopter, dude. If you could learn to control any vehicle, what would you want to control?
Oh, shit.
If you could operate, get licensed.
Flying a saucer.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Area 51, September 20th, guys, is rolling up.
I might get confused and, cut myself off from the space-time continuum, but...
Hell yeah.
Other than that, if I knew how to work the thing, yeah, would definitely do that.
I'll rock with it.
Yeah.
I think I forgot to take my pills today. Fuck.
Oh, shit.
I know, dude. I'm bad. I'm working on it, man. I'm working on it. But we're at 58.
All
it
right.
is pushing 4:30. You said you need to get back to campus.
4:35, but
you want to push it farther? Are we good?
I think we're good, man. I think we have a plethora of.
It's been a pleasure talking with you, my guy.
Yeah, you too, man. I really appreciate you putting me on the podcast. I like talking, like having conversations.
Yeah. You want to do it again sometime?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm down to have return guests for sure. It also gives me a chance to twerk it, make it better, and then have a better operation the next time, and just, it's baby steps, but
Hell yeah.
I'm trying to make it better.
Really
I'm gonna get a second mic here soon.
Hell yeah.
Especially if I can get some crowd support going. What's that shit called? Crowdfunding type shit.
Yeah, man. You're gonna have to, just keep on working on that, man.
Oh yeah.
Just keep on going.
And doing college.
Hell yeah. But doing several things is good for the mind. Makes you agile.
And passion helps too. You got to be passionate about what you do, or you're not gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, folks. This has been Mark Shelton and
Tanner Webster
for the Wolfcat podcast. I hope to hear from you guys again. Comment, like, subscribe, all the good shit. If you guys ever need anything, reach out to me via social medias, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But Until then, breathe it in, folks. It's been a fun one.
Yes, sir.